Welcome to our review of doubles around the table. This is a review this week, totally. We're going to be talking about takeout doubles, and if we have time, we'll get to the big double and also how to respond in no trump when your partner has doubled. I will tell you that when your partner uses a takeout double, about the last thing he wants to see is a no trump bid from you. But sometimes that's the best contract, and sometimes it's the best description, and really the only place that you can play. And we'll talk about what is needed for you to do that, and then go from there. So after we finish takeout doubles, I'm going to move around to the next seat, which the next seat would be the responder's chair. And we'll review the negative double again. I know you guys have got to be going, oh gosh, not again. But the negative double is important enough that it warrants spending another review session on it. Then the next seat is advancer's chair, and advancer has his double. It's called the responsive double. That will be new to a lot of you. And we'll talk about what it means and what different kinds of partnership agreements you can have for it. Then finally, we'll wind it up with the support double. The support double is opener's double. It has a very specific use that I think a lot of you will find very, very helpful in your bidding. So, takeout doubles. I get lots of questions about, does my partner really have to bid when I make a takeout double? The short answer is yes, if there is no intervening bid. Now, there are times when partner will pass a takeout double and you feel like turning green and passing out when that happens. But generally, it should mean that your partner has a decent hand and a trump stack in the suit that the opener bid, and he wants to penalize the opener. He figures between your opening hand and his trump stack that declared doesn't have a chance. So it is not unheard of to pass a takeout double, but that is not normally what happens. By a trump stack for a one-level bid, I'm talking about 6 cards in the suit. If you don't have something like that and you pass a double and the fella makes it and makes an over trick maybe, then he may have a game that he has scored all of a sudden because you left the double in. We've all done that from time to time. John Parrish used to tell me, Susan, if all your doubles are successful, you're not doubling enough. And I'd say, well, yeah, probably, but I'm always chicken to double when I'm not sure I can set it, because I give them an extra bonus. But that's part of the risk you take when you play this game. And the way you get experience is to try out these things. And then when they don't work, you've learned a little bit more about using that bid. So basically, when the person sitting in the direct seat uses a double, there's an opening bid, doesn't have to be the dealer, but there's an opening bid, and the next person puts out the double card, it has a pretty specific meaning. In essence, this player is saying, partner, bid. I make a great dummy. I am a wonderful dummy over here. I just need to tell you to tell me which suit we should play. So the classic takeout double features a hand that has 13 to 17 total points. Now, that's not to say that if you have 11 high card points in your hand, that a double is not appropriate. I read one of Mel Cocamaro's pieces, I think it was in the Bridge Bulletin, about using a takeout double with the number of points where the second number in the digit represents how many cards you have in the opponent's suit. In other words, he was advocating using a takeout double with high card points if you're a void in the opener's suit. You know, 0 as the second digit, and you have 0 cards in that suit. If you have 1 card in the suit, then perhaps a takeout double with 11 high card points would be acceptable. And I know many people who follow that rule. So it's not hard and fast on 13 to 17, but before you do that, you should talk to your partner about it. Here I am saying partnership agreement again, but it's absolutely true in this case and is rather important. Now, You also need at least 3 card support for all unbid suits. All unbid suits and shortness in opener suit. So that implies really that, let's say the opener bids a heart. Next person up doubles. He strongly implies that he has 4 spades in his hand. But remember, he can't overcall a spade with only 4 of them. He needs 5. So when he has an opening hand and 4 spades in his suit, in his hand as well, and he is short in the opener suit, he can put down the double card. This is one thing or one aspect of using this method of takeout doubles that makes it really easy on the advancer to know what partner holds. The advancer is the partner of the takeout doubler. We can't use the term responder for the person who responds to the opening bidder and to the person sitting in the direct seat. That's very confusing. So opener's partner is called the responder. Overcaller or doubler's partner is called the advancer. And when he bids, he is said to be advancing the double or advancing the overcall. So now, here's an example. West has opened 1 spade. Let's look at the north hand here. This is a classic takeout double example. There are 4 hearts in it. There are 4 diamonds and 3 cards in the club suit. And there's a doubleton in the suit opener bid. That is acceptable. Shortness in opener suit means 1, 2, or 0 cards in it. So this is a perfect example of a takeout double that shows 4 hearts and at least 3 card support for all unbid suits. Same thing is true here. This is also a takeout double. The second person didn't use it, but 1 spade passed, 2 spades double says, partner, I have a good hand. Now, obviously, when the opponents are bidding spades, you're forcing your partner to the 3 level to bid. So this is not a spot where I would be contemplating doing it with 10 or 11 points. After all, if I have a 5 or 6 card suit myself, I'm going to bid it rather than doubling. But in this case, this is a strong hand with extreme shortness in spades. And Mr. South is thinking, gee, if my partner has 4 hearts, we might play 3 hearts and either make it, or maybe if we go down only 1 or 2, we give the opponents fewer points than they'd have gotten by making 2 spades. So these doubles can be very competitive in nature. One question I get a lot is, how do I know if that double is for penalty or for takeout? And once again, this becomes a matter of partnership agreement. Some low-level doubles are for penalty, notably the double of a 1 no trump overcall. Conventionally, double of 1 no trump is always for penalty. So, but that you don't have to play it that way. You're free to use it as takeout if you want to, but you and your partner need to discuss exactly what it means. So now, a takeout double typically is a double of a part score contract. That's a contract played below game when your partner has passed or not made a call. A penalty double is generally used when it's a game contract or higher, or when your partner has made any call other than pass. Those are rough guidelines that a lot of people use. But as I said, you and your partner can use a different standard if you want to. Now, takeout doubles are defensive bids by nature. We don't always want to be a defensive bidder, but you don't have a choice. If someone opens in front of you and you have an opening hand and you were planning on opening a convenient minor, well, all of a sudden you're bidding defensively because one of your opponents has opened in front of you. There are 3 ways to bid defensively. You can overcall in a suit, which requires a good 5-card suit. The fewer points you have, the better your suit should be. In other words, if you don't have very many points at all, then that suit should contain most of your points. At the 1 level, most people agree that 8 points is sufficient. But at the 2 level, a 2 level overcall is a completely different animal. And to do that, for instance, if your opponent opened 1 spade and you want to bid 2 diamonds, you need to have a full opening hand. There are some people that will tell you that 10 points is sufficient. They haven't gone off as much as I have in 2 level overcalling with only 10 points. I used to do that because I like to bid. And I finally saw the light and said, nah, my hand needs to be better. My hand needs to be better. Now, you can overcall a suit. You can overcall 1 no trump. Overcalling 1 no trump shows virtually the same strength as an opening no trump does, with one important difference. You promise a stopper in the suit the opener bid, absolutely in blood. You have a stop. You have the normal high card strength. Most people use 15 to 18 because it's easier to deal with hands in the overcalling seat. If you use 1 no trump as 15 to 18, then it is 15 to 17. And it's a balanced hand with stoppers. Or you can use the takeout double, and that's what we're talking about today. 4 cards for an unbid major. There are times when you will use the takeout double when you will only have 3 in the unbid major, because this is not a perfect world. Maybe if your partner bids the suit, he has 5 of them. You never know. He could have 5. Otherwise, he might be playing a 4-3 fit. Well, as one of my partners used to tell me, playing 4-3 fits builds character. So it'll be good for him. You know, not desired, but sometimes you have to do that. So now we've covered the requirements for what you need to use a takeout double. The big important thing here to remember is that there are specific guidelines for the way the advancer bids. If he has 0 to 8 points, he bids his best suit. This is in the event that the responder has passed. If he has 0 points, he still must bid. Remember, your partner has no strength in opener suit. So if you pass that 1 level double and leave it in, the odds are pretty good that they're going to make the bid and the result will be doubled. It's not often a good outcome for the defense when you do that. So remember, even if you have 0 points, advancer must bid, and don't let on. Don't squirm. Don't make a face. Try not, just act as normal as you can. Put your bid on the table and hope that the opponents bid on. No, I've shown you an example here. East opened a diamond, South doubled, West passed, of course. Here the bid is 1 spade. Cannot pass 1 diamond. You must not pass 1 diamond. The priority here, if you have a choice, is to bid a 4-card major at the cheapest level when you have 0 to 8 points. If you have a 5-card minor and a 4-card major and 0 to 8 points, get that major suit on the table. Even when you have a truly awful hand like this one, you must bid. Now then, priority number 2 is bid a 4-card or longer minor suit at the cheapest level. Same hand, the only difference is this time we have 4 clubs instead of 4 spades. 1 diamond, double, pass, 2 clubs. I can virtually assure you that South was not looking for a 2-club response, but that's what your hand is. So you need to tell partner, I don't have a 4-card major over here, partner. I'd bid it if I did. Now, what happens if there's an intervening bid? Well, you're off the hook. But don't take that as an excuse not to bid if you have 6 to 8 points. Think about it this way. Opening bidder has an opening hand, and your partner has an opening hand. If you have 6 points, and your partner had opened the bidding, you would respond to him, wouldn't you? Well, likewise, when your partner has used a takeout double and you have 6 points, you have the same situation. You have just as much chance at winning the contract as the opponents do in that situation. So when you have 6, 7, or 8 points, even if your right hand opponent bids, feel free to bid anyway, because you and your partner have a good chance to own this hand. I know a lot of people just think, oh, thank goodness I don't have to bid, and they pass. When looking at the hand later, you see, oh my gosh, the hand really belonged to us. We had a nice fit in my suit, and I didn't want to bid because I only had 6 or 7 points. And I didn't have to bid, so I didn't. So with 6 or more points, if you have a major suit in particular, please feel free to compete, even though there's a bid by your right-hand opponent. So if you have 5 points or fewer, and the person on your right bids, you have every right to pass. And I know when I'm holding 2 or 3 points, I'm very happy to pass in that situation. But if you have 6 points or more and your partner's used a takeout double, don't be afraid to bid, even though there's been an intervening bid. Well, now we come to another question. What if I have more than 8 points? Does that make a difference? You bet it does. I see lots and lots and lots of people respond to takeout doubles, or advanced takeout doubles, I should say, at the cheapest level, no matter how many points they have. And then they wonder why they missed a game. Well, when you have 9 to 11 points, jump a level when you have a 4-card or longer major suit. Here's an example. East opened a diamond, South doubled, West passed. Now, North could get by with bidding only 1 heart here. And a lot of people would bid only 1 heart. This is a very flat hand, but it has 9 points in it. And you don't know at this point how good your partner's hand is yet. He may have the balance of the points at the table, with the exception of this opener over here. All you know is he has at least an opening hand. You need to tell him, I have more than a minimum response or advance to a takeout double. You show that by jumping a level in your major suit. Your second priority, just like advancing with 0 to 8 points, if you have a 4-card or longer minor suit, jump a level in that suit as well. That says, partner, I have better than you might expect over here. What do you think? Diamonds, here's my suit. 1 spade by East, double by South, meaning he's short in spades. No trump contract doesn't look too likely, does it? West passes, and now you bid 3 diamonds. That may be where you play it, or partner may have enough in diamonds and outside strength that you play 5 diamonds. So it's important to let partner know when you have a hand of this strength. There's a whole lot of difference in a 5-point hand and a 10-point hand, right? But if you bid them the same way, partner will never know which one you have. Now, there are times when your partner uses a takeout double and you also have 12 or more points. When that's the situation, you need to be in a game contract. And as I've said at least 1,000 times in my life, the one who knows goes. So if you know where the contract should be played, just bid it. For instance, if this is your hand as North, when East is opened a diamond, your partner doubled, West passed. Look at this hand. This is 13 points with a diamond double in it. This is definitely worth a 4-spade call. Your partner has promised 4 cards in any unbid major Hopefully he has 4 spades and not just 4 hearts. Occasionally it happens, but you've got excellent spades and you should have a decent chance at 4 spades here. Your partner has promised an opening hand. Your hand is worth at least 14 points. So don't chicken out and bid only 2 spades or 3 spades. If you have shown your partner a 2 spade call and he has a minimum takeout double, he will pass, not realizing that you have a hand that's this good. Likewise here, when you hold a heart suit and 12 or more points, partner has said, I have 4 card support for unbid majors. As I said, in a perfect world, that would happen every time, but this is not a perfect world. Here, just bid 4 hearts. If you bid anything less, partner can pass, especially if he's a minimum takeout doubler. But what if I'm not sure where to play? For instance, if I have a choice on which major suit to bid, how do I know which one is right? If my partner has 4 cards in one and 3 in the other, it's a lead pipe cinch that I will pick the one where he has only 3 card support, because that's the way my life goes. So what to do? Well, you use a QBID. Using the opponent's bids against them is one of the advantages of being a defender. So if you're holding the north, east has opened the bidding, 1 diamond, partner doubled. Notice he has 4 cards in one major and only 3 in the other. Mr. West passed, and now let's look at this north hand here. 2 4-card majors. I have enough that we should play game in one of them, but I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick. Partner may have 3 hearts and 4 spades, or the opposite. The way I ask him to pick is by bidding 2 diamonds. That does not mean I have a diamond suit. If I have a diamond suit, I'm going to bid no trump in response to my partner's takeout double. This means, partner, I'm unsure as to the best contract. Tell me more about your hand. And at this point, when the minimum over here, east will pass, the rule is, following a QBID here, the partners bid 4-card major suits up the line. So north now bids 2 hearts. West passes, and north says, all I needed to know, 4 hearts. And we find our 4-4 major suit fit without having to guess. We don't have to guess. It can be really scary to bid the opponent's suit. Been there, know that. You're scared to death that your partner is going to pass you. I have been passed in this situation, and I'm still walking around sucking air and in general getting into trouble. You just play the hand the best you can and go on to the next one. But QBIDs are 1-round forces. When you have bid the opponent's suit, that means, partner, I'm unsure as to where we belong. I have a hand that has 12 or more points in it, and I don't know which suit to bid. Help me out. And that is what partner does in response to the QBID. Now, that's the end of slide set number 1. We got finished in just about the right time here, that I thought. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to discussing the big double or advancing in no trump? Anybody at all? Nobody? My goodness, you guys are really getting smart these days here. There we go. Now we'll go on to this next section. Advancing in no trump after partner has used a takeout double. When your best suit is the suit that the opener bid, think no trump. Don't bid that suit. I mean, the opening bidder has already announced that he has at least some length and strength in the suit. So you don't want to bid it necessarily. But look at this example. This is a very flat 4-3-3-3 hand. North has to bid, but East opened a spade. What am I going to do? Well, I don't want to bid 2 spades because I know East has 5 of them and I know my partner's short in spades. That can't possibly be a good choice. So what North does here with 8 to 10 points and stoppers in the opponent's suit, bid no trump. As I said earlier, that's not exactly what South wanted to see when he put down the double, but it describes your hand very effectively. You have stoppers in the opponent's suit and no other 4-card suit to bid. Partner should have something in each of those suits. He has denied spades, so his points will mostly be in these other suits. It's possible that he has a jack or something like that in the spade suit, maybe a jack doubleton. That would be a nice help. But he should have most of his points in these other 3 suits. So with 8 to 10 points and this kind of situation, bid 1 no trump if you have a stop in the opponent's suit. With 11 or 12 points, jump to 2 no trump. Same idea as jumping a level when you're when you're advancing in a suit. With 9 to 11 points, we jump a level. Well, with 11 to 12, we jump a level in no trump. 1 heart, double, pass, 2 no trump here by North. Notice once again, he has only 1 4-card suit, and it's the suit that East opened. So he doesn't want to bid a 3-card spade fragment, even though his partner probably has 4 spades. He should have. 4 3-fits are not ideal. And with nice stops in the heart suit and 11 high card points, 2 no trump is a perfect description. We don't worry about diamonds. The opponents have not given us any reason to worry about diamonds. Until they do, don't worry about it. What you need to worry about is hearts. Your opponents gave you a reason to worry about hearts. Well, you have pretty good control here. So 2 no trump would be the correct advance. And with 13 or more points in your hand, if you have stoppers, just bid 3 no trumps. For instance, 1 diamond by East, South double, West pass, and look at your hand. This is a perfect 3 no trump call. Yes, partner is short in diamonds, but you're not. And you have a for sure stop in diamonds. They are not going to be able to run that suit on you. Now, this brings us to the subject of the doublers rebid. What do I do? What do I do? I've seen lots and lots of people raise advancer's suit with a minimum takeout double, whether he's forced to or not. There's one big problem with that. This is not the same thing as bidding a suit and having responder bid freely. When you use a double, you put a gun to your partner's head. You made him bid. He could easily have only 2 or 3 points over there. So raising with a minimum takeout double is not a good idea. If your partner had 9 to 11 points and you have enough to invite to game, say if you have 14 points in your hand, all you care about is, well, do you have the 9 or do you have the 11? If you have the 11, I want to be in game. Then you would invite because your partner jumped a level. But when your partner has advanced at the minimum level possible and you have a minimum takeout double, don't raise him. Don't hang him out to dry because he did what he was supposed to. But now, if you have a better than minimum takeout double, by that I mean a hand worth on average about 17-ish points, then it's okay to raise 1 level. You should be okay at the 2 level. If you have 17 and your partner has 2 or 3 points in his hand, That's okay. You pass with a minimum hand here if you were the doubler. You can raise one level with that medium hand or jump raise with the 19 to 21 point hand. Notice this is a hand that would bid game if this were an opening bid responding situation, but it's not. This was a takeout double and advancer was forced to bid. So you have to pull back a little bit even when you have a good hand as double. Now, when the advancer shows a medium hand, this says pass with 13 to 14. I might invite with 14 on the off chance that my partner has 11 instead of 9. But I'm known to, let's say I'm known to have eaten my Wheaties for breakfast sometimes, and sometimes I bid a little aggressively. If I have 14, I'm probably going to invite when my partner has jumped a level. And if I have 15 or more points, a hand worth 15 or more points in support of my partner's suit, I'm going to bid the game. All of these things, all these actions are taken remembering that you forced your partner to bid. You put a gun to his head. He did not bid voluntarily. And notice, this is why it's so important for the advancer to bid at the appropriate level. If you bid 0 to 8 point hands and 9 to 11 point hands the same way, partner will never know when to bid on and when not to. It becomes a guess, and it doesn't have to be that way. If you just remember how to tell your partner what you have, then you will end up in a better contract. And accuracy in your contracts makes playing the hands much, much easier. So now that's basically it for the common garden variety takeout double, the one you see most of the time at the table. But I think most of you will remember that on the back of the convention card, there's a place to write down what point range you use for a simple overcall. Most people write 7 to 16 or 8 to 16 or something like that, whatever your agreed upon range is. Mine says 7-ish to 17. That means if I pick up a hand with 18 high card points in it, all of a sudden I'm outside the range for our agreed upon range for the simple overcall. So look at this hand. Right hand opponent opens one heart. This is a very strong hand. This has 18 high card points, a 6 card suit, and a void. This is much too strong a hand for a simple overcall if your range is what that used by most players. If your partner, if you've got an opponent who's open, you have 18 high card points. There are only 10 points left in the deck unaccounted for. Your partner could very well pass one spade, and you would be just sick, wouldn't you? In this case, the answer is our good friend, the double. After your right-hand opponent opens one heart, put down the double card. Partner's going to think it's a standard takeout double. That's fine. That's all he needs to know right now. He'll bid. He'll probably bid diamonds if your life is like mine. He'll bid diamonds. And then when you bid spades, this is called doubling and originating a new suit. Double and bidding a new suit indicates a hand that is too strong for a simple overcall. And this is why we don't make off-shape takeout doubles. I have asked people on several occasions when they have made off-shape takeout doubles, they don't have 3-card support for all unbid suits. I'll say, what are you going to do when your partner bids diamonds? If he's holding a singleton or a small doubleton. Oh, well, I'll just bid my heart suit here. Well, you have 13 points. You're telling your partner you have 18 points when you do that. So just bidding the suit you really wanted partner to bid doesn't work out in that situation. sometimes pass is the best bid in the box. It doesn't mean necessarily that you are weak. It just means you don't have a suitable bid at the moment. You can always come back in on the next round if you get the chance, because doubling and then bidding a new suit is reserved for the strong hand, something like this one. Many of them won't be quite this strong, but after the opponents have opened, a double followed by a new suit shows a hand that is too strong for a simple overcall. So this fella holding this hand would double first and then bid spades. That would convey to his partner, hey, I don't care what suit you have. I have spades, and by golly, we're going to play spades. The only question is, are we going to play game or not? Because I have a great big old hand over here. People always get concerned. Well, I don't know. How do I know which double that is? It's not your business. You respond as though partner has made a standard takeout double. If he has a big double, you'll know soon enough. You'll know at his next turn to call. Let's go through the scenario here. Double. Your partner, thinking that the double is for takeout, will advance in some unbid suit, or maybe no trump. Make your second bid in a new suit. This tells your partner that your double was not for takeout, but was the big double or the strong double instead. These are completely different conventions, even though they both have the name double in them. So let's take a look at what different responses might mean. One heart, double, pass. Two diamonds by advancer, pass. Two spades by the strong doubler. Shows 18 or more high card points and at least 5 spades. If doubler bids 3 clubs, same thing. Shows 18 or more points and at least 5 clubs. 2 no trump shows 19 or more high card points. How do we know this? Because we use 15 to 18 for the no trump overcall range. If you use only 15 to 17, then this would indicate an 18 plus point high card point hand and a heart stopper. Notice the opponent's bid a suit. So we still have to have a stop in the opponent's suit when we have the hand that's too strong for a 1 no trump overcall. This is why an opening bid followed by 2 no trump in the direct seat is always unusual. It's because a 2 no trump call should never be the hand that would open 2 no trump. You would start with a double first because the hand is too strong for a no trump overcall. If you play that a 2 no trump overcall is a real 2 no trump, you should alert that because it is not standard. Or if you're unsure, ask your opponents. I have learned better than to assume, because there are some folks who use the 2 no trump overcall as being a real 2 no trump call. It is not unusual. Likewise, a 3 diamond call is 18 plus points. And diamond support, remember, to raise a minimum leveled advance of a takeout double, you need a hand with at least 18 points in it. This is diamond support and 18 or more points in the hand. I have better than the minimum takeout double, and it just happens here that you hit my suit. Now a QBID, a double followed by a new suit by advancer, followed by a QBID of the opener suit, shows a hand that would have opened 2 clubs had your very rude opponent not opened in front of you. This is the way you show the hand that would have opened 2 clubs. That happens once in a while. You're sitting there smiling to yourself thinking, oh boy, I finally got a good hand. And lo and behold, an opponent opens in front of you. Sometimes they even use a weak two bid or some such thing. The QBID of the opponent's suit following the double shows the hand that would have opened two clubs. So remember, QBIDs are always forcing. For goodness sakes, if you're in an auction and you don't know what your partner's bid means, don't pass. Remember, all strange bids are forcing and QBIDs are strange bids. So all QBIDs are forcing one round. If you don't know what to do, just rebid your suit, but for goodness sake, don't pass. That leads to a lot of disasters at the table. So that also begs a question here. Should I overcall or should I double? What if I have a 5-card minor and a 4-card major? Or should I overcall one no trump? Well, what should I do? Well, if you're planning to open one no trump and you have an opponent who opens in front of you, if you have at least one stopper in the opponent's suit, some partnerships require a double stop in the opponent's suit. Overcall one no trump and get your hand off your chest all at once. Remember, statement and transfers are on over a one no trump overcall. Your partner can still transfer with 0 points if he has a 5-card major suit. The one no trump overcall, though, is the most dangerous bid in bridge. The person sitting on your left knows that his partner has an opening hand and he knows what he has. Many times that gives him the option of pulling out the red card because he knows that your partner, the advancer, is broke. And rather than trying to compete for the contract, he wants to penalize you. I've been caught in that situation more than once, to the point where when I have just 15 points, I sometimes don't overcall one no trump. I have been burned several times. It makes me a little skittish some days. So what exactly is a stopper if I'm thinking about overcalling one no trump? Well, here we are. Ace anything. That's a minimal stopper, to say the least, as is a king doubleton. That is one stop, and that's all. Queen and 2 small is a stopper unless the opponents have bid and raised a suit. If you're in an auction where the opponents have bid and raised a suit and they're leading it, your queen is probably going to be trapped between the ace and the king, and this would not be considered a stopper. But in this case, you're the second one to bid and your left-hand opponent hasn't had the opportunity to bid yet. So this can be counted as a slow stop when you're thinking about overcalling one no trump. Notice it requires 4 cards in the suit if you have a jack, and sometimes people will say that 10-4 rather than 10-5 is also a stop. I saw that happen at the table the other day. 2 honors fell on the same trick, and 10-4, 10 became a stop and enabled the contract to make. Now, here's an exception. If your right-hand opponent opens a minor and you have 2 4-card majors, double for takeout rather than overcalling one no trump. Obviously, if you have a 5-card major, you're probably going to bid it. But if you have 2 4-card majors and otherwise would have a one no trump overcall, double and see if you can't get your partner to bid it. He may not have enough to bid statement. So that becomes an important consideration. I hope you guys realize that all these rules have at least one exception. They look pretty straightforward, but there are so many different possible combinations of cards and different situations that almost everything has at least one exception. Now, if you have a good 5-card major suit, in addition to being short in the opener suit, bid the 5-card major. The reason for that is if your partner has a 3-card fragment in a major suit, he's not going to bid it because he doesn't magically know that you have a 5-card major suit. So when you have a 5-card major suit, show it, because otherwise a 5-3 fit will be lost. Now, if you have a 5-card minor and a 4-card major, then it's time to double, because I'm not necessarily looking to show a 5-card minor suit. I want to find out when I have a 5-card minor and a 4-card major, I'm interested in finding the major suit fit. Now, here's a question I get all the time. I have an opening hand. I have 4 or more cards in the suit that my opponent opened. Do I have to pass? Well, generally you do. If you don't have a 5-card suit, if you're not strong enough to overcall a no trump, if you're strong enough to overcall a no trump and you have no stopper, you have 4 small cards in the opponent's suit, what are you left with? You have no 5-card suit for overcalling. You're not strong enough to bid a no trump. The problem comes when you double holding 4 cards in the opponent's suit, that it's unlikely that you will have 3-card support for all unbid suits, which is a requirement for a takeout double. Remember what I said earlier, doubling and then bidding a different suit shows 18 or more high card points. So you can overcall 1 no trump with 15 to 18 high card points and stoppers in the opponent's suit. If you don't have that, you can bid a chunky in capitals, 4-card major suit. That means if you're vulnerable, have 3 of the top 4 honors. In other words, ace, king, queen, 10, that kind of thing. Non-vulnerable, you can have 3 of the top 5. So ace, king, jack, 10 would be acceptable. Ace, king, jack, 9 would be acceptable. Or you can make what's known as a trap pass, a hand that might have opened the bidding, but now, since you're sitting in the direct seat, you have no suitable bid. Sometimes pass is the only option available to you. I know there are lots of you out there who like to bid as much as I do, but sometimes pass is the best course of action. So here are some examples right quick. North opens a club. Here's the east hand. Notice that this hand has 19 high card points in it. This hand is too strong to overcall 1 spade. East should start with a double, intending to rebid no trump at the cheapest level. That shows 19 to 20 points and a balanced hand. Doubling and then bidding no trump at the cheapest level shows 19 or 20 points. In other words, the hand that very likely would have opened to no trump. Notice that West is going to bid 1 heart here. Well, that's great. I love hearing that you have lengthened hearts, but I'm still bidding no trump. I'm not bidding spades, I'm bidding no trump, because that conveys the nature of my hand. My hand is 5-3-3-2. And I'm one of those who is in the bid no trump, even with a 5-card major camp. So here's the way the bidding would likely go. 1 club, double by east, pass by south, 1 heart by west, and North bids again. He bids 2 clubs. Uh-oh. I have only 1 stop in clubs. He has an opening hand with 6 clubs. Guess where a lot of the missing high card points are? All of a sudden, I've changed my plan. It pays to listen to the bidding or watch the bidding. All of a sudden, my 2 no trump call doesn't look so promising. I'm bidding 2 spades now because North has a 6-card club suit. I have 1 stop. He has an opening hand. Any aces I'm missing are probably his, and I can only stop clubs once. All of a sudden, no trump's not very appealing to me. It's okay to modify your plan when the bidding dictates. Perfectly okay. So 2 spades by east, south passes again, and West says, oh, you have 18 or more points? I've got a hand worth 6 points. and I have 3-card support for you. I'm okay with spades. 3 spades. North passes and East says, oh my gosh, he's got a little something over there, and he has spade support, and he's bid hearts. My short suit, hopefully he has the ace. So I'm willing to take a chance on 4 spades. Notice we're going to lose a spade, no hearts. Hopefully the king of diamonds is favorably placed. And then we're going to lose at least 1 club. If the king of diamonds is offside, we'll lose a diamond, but 4 spades has an excellent shot here. But 3 no trump is really, 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 really iffy once East rebids that club suit. If I'm holding this hand, I'm going to double and bid no trump until East rebids his club suit. He doesn't know that this is the big double either. He says, you know, I'm not willing to go quietly here on this auction. So East bids 2 spades. West now revalues his hand and raises to 3, and North bids 4. Here's another example. North opens a heart, and this is the East hand. Some people would not double with this hand because it doesn't have 4 spades in it. In an ideal world, you will have 4 cards in an unbid major every time. But as I said earlier, sometimes partner has a 5-card suit. Look at the West hand over here. This hand has only 5 high card points in it. I would still take a chance and double with this hand. Simply because I'm hoping that my hand is worth about 14 points, and I'm hoping that partner can bid spades and make it. So here's a possible way that the bidding would go. North bids a heart, East doubles, South passes, West bids a spade, saying, I have spades here. I have to bid. I have 0 to 8 points. So 1 spade is my call. Now North bids 2 diamonds. He has a red 2 suitor here. Should East raise? He should not. He does not have the 18 points required to raise a minimum advance of a takeout double. He has to pass. If you double and raise partner's minimum, you absolutely promise 4-card support and more points than East has. Since East doesn't have 4-card support, he must pass. This time, South takes a preference to 2 hearts, and West says, he just took a preference. That's not a strong hand. I have 5 spades, and I have a diamond doubleton. I know my partner is short in hearts. He must have only 3-card spade support. That's the way I would be thinking. He may have 4-card spade support and a really dead minimum double, but I have 5 spades. It is absolutely not out of line for West to bid 2 spades here. If he chooses to pass, East needs to respect his choice, though, because he was forced to bid here. But in this case, 2 spades is totally appropriate. He has 1 more spade than he promised, and he has a hand that's worth 6 points. Remember, we said that if you have 6, 7, or 8 points, you should bid, even though the responder bids between you and the doubler. In this case, responder didn't the first time, but he did the second time, taking a preference. This time, West says, you know what, partner? I have a better hand than I showed you the first time. We may not make 2 spades, but I'm having a hard time thinking we're going to beat 2 hearts because I know that you're short in hearts. So I'm willing to take a chance. This is entirely appropriate here. Even though he has only 5 high card points, he has 2 doubletons, which makes him near the top of that 0 to 8 point range. So they find their 8 card spade fit, and hopefully they get to play it. They should, since South only took a preference here to North's 2 suits. I hope all of you understand why West should bid again here, but East should not. Since he lacks 4 spades, he really, really needs to pass. If you double and then raise, you've got to have 4 card support to do it. So that's the end of our lesson for this week, our review of takeout doubles. If any of you have any questions, we have a couple of minutes. Next week, we're going to review negative doubles again, and after that, we'll be taking up something new. Thank you all for coming this morning. Anybody have a question?
Well, Susan, this is Patty. I'm not sure if I know exactly how to phrase this question, but a lot of times what will happen is your opponents will do a week 2 bid, and right. You could have opened, and you know, are the same rules in effect?
Well, if your opponent opened 2 spades, you're going to force your partner to bid at the 3 level. You need more than the 11 points I was talking about earlier to force him to the 3 level. You know, you need a good solid takeout double at that point, but there's a good chance your partner has something, because you know that that week 2 bidder has fewer than 10 high card points in his hand.
Should you kind of shy away from ending up in no trump though, because you know that your opponent's got such a long suit?
Well, it all depends on what your partner's holding is. Remember, if you double, he's going to have to bid 2 no trump. He's not going to bid 2 no trump with anything less than 11 or 12 points, and hopefully a nice tennis in spades of some sort, like ace queen, or maybe he has king jack 10, something like that. Otherwise, he's going to bid a suit. That it all depends on what the holding is. There are times when it could be very appropriate to play no trump. Remember, when there's a week 2 opening bid followed by a 2 no trump call, that shows a 1 no trump opening hand. So it's not unheard of that you might play no trump following a week 2 bid. It's not unheard of at all. But when you force your partner to bid at the 3 level to start, or maybe somebody bid 3 something, if your partner is forced even higher, you need to have considerably more than a minimum takeout double. It all depends on the level to which you are forcing your partner, whether you use the takeout double. And if I'm sitting there looking at a dead minimum takeout double and somebody opened 2 spades, I have to think long and hard. You know, maybe my partner has something and he can double, but if I have 10 or 11 points in spade shortness, I'm not going to force my partner to the 3 level. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Hi, this is Susan. Thanks for stopping by the Oklahoma Collective's YouTube channel. Basically, this channel shows recordings of our free 1-hour bridge lessons for advancing players that we offer every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to join us, send your contact information to the email address shown on the screen, and we'll be happy to send you the link. If you would like to follow our channel and be notified when a new recording is uploaded, just click the Oklahoma Collective button below. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.